Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize for the delay, but let's get started with our calendar. This is October 10th, 2024, the 9 a.m. State All-Purpose Calendar with the State Court of Fulton County. My name is Judge Law, and we will begin addressing the current misdemeanor cases with the State Court. This is going to be a plea and arraignment calendar, and we are going to determine the status of the cases. If you're a defendant charged with one or more misdemeanor offenses, please remember the following rights. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you. Courtroom 2, who do we have first? Good morning, courtroom 2.
Good morning, Your Honor. We can start with position number 52, Mr. Whitehurst.
Okay. We have a Spanish interpreter on Zoom, and I'm trying to see if we have any conflict attorneys right now. No one's here right now. Okay.
Kim is in the courtroom, Your Honor.
Conflicts in the courtroom?
Oh, no, conflicts on the phone. That's me.
Okay, thank you. This is State versus Damika Whitehurst, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Whitehurst is charged with theft by shoplifting. Mr. Whitehurst, I've advised you of your rights, and your attorney is Ms. Kim, seated next to you. This is going to be a negotiated plea. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Number is 24 CR 6833D. Ms. Kim, confirming this is a negotiated plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
You looked a little puzzled, so I wasn't sure. All right.
Oh, I'm double checking right now, just in case.
And who's our prosecutor for this morning? Ms. Paul? Okay.
I did not realize my video was off.
Okay.
Yes, if we are ready to proceed, this case has one count of theft by shoplifting. The recommendation is 12 months, served 60 days, credit for time served 15 days. That's going to be from September 26, 2024 to today. Balance probated, an anti-theft course, $500 fine, stay away from Walmart located at 4735 State Route 138 in Union City. We do ask the defense to stipulate to venue factual basis and identification for the purposes of the plea. That's all for the state.
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
All right. And your client still has 15 more days at the jail. Does he know that?
Well, only thing that he wants to address is that he was at East Point for about 5 more days. I was wondering he can get credit for that time as well. I emailed Ms. Shelley last night, and it was really late, so I don't know if she received it or not.
Let me take a look really quickly.
Okay.
So that looks to be correct, but the question is, and will the jail give him credit for that time? I assume they will, but I just want to make sure so we don't have any issues.
How do we verify with the jail? Do we email jail records? Or?
That's something that should have been done before the plea. Otherwise, the state is free to reduce the time to 50 days.
Okay, let's go ahead and do that, Your Honor. I think that would be easier and less complicated.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
50 days, given credit for 15 days, which means that he has 10 more days at the jail. And Mr. Whitehurst, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
I take medication, ma'am.
And have you understood your case so far and what's going on?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you entering this plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, ma'am.
If you decide to enter a guilty plea to this charge, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial before a judge or a jury, to be able to go back to court, challenge the evidence that would be presented to you, present your own defenses and arguments, confront your accuser, and also have the state prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of theft by shoplifting?
Guilty.
The sentence is going to be 12 months to serve 50 days, credit for time served 15 days. You have 10 more days at the Fulton County Jail. The remainder of the time is going to be probated. I don't see you have any holes in your particular case, so you will report to probation on Monday, which is next week, and that's going to be October 14th. And you'll report to the probation office on October 14th before 3 p.m. While you're on probation, you will report every month. You will enroll and complete an anti-theft class within 60 days from your release date. You are to pay a $500 fine with a minimum payment of $50 per month, and you are to stay away from the Walmart store at 4735 State Route 138 in Union City. Thank you.
Good morning, Judge Law. This is going to be position number 3 on the add-on calendar. Kemp,
Okay.
Go ahead.
This is Lark Camp at ACDC. I don't know if conflict counsel is available. Who
it's supposed to
represents
be Miss McLeod. She was just signed on.
Ms. McLeod? Good morning.
I don't know where she looked like she just signed off. She was just on.
All right, I will get with him as soon as Ms. McLeod comes on.
Okay.
Do you have anyone else? I have a Spanish interpreter case, if that person's available.
Come on, Paige.
There will be Lopez, Team White. Team.
All right, ACDC, who do we have?
This is position number 31, Paige.
Okay.
Ms. Kim, this is Simone Page, who's got positions 31, 32, and 33. Ms. Page is got 3 cases, 24 CR, 1335J, battery family violence. And she's got 2 bench warrants, 24 FTA 1487 from September 2024. And I don't know if the second one, oh, it's the position 33 is a duplicate, so let's eliminate that. Okay. Ms. Kim, is this going to be a negotiated plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Page, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
All right. And Ms. Page, as I've indicated, those are the cases brought against you. You have been advised of your rights, and Ms. Kim will be representing you. Ms. Falk, what's the recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. As to Mrs. Page's case, position 31, family violence battery, 12 months served 24 days, credit for time served 12 days, from March 20th to March 22nd and October 2nd, 2024 to today. Balance probated, no further contact with Valadia Ferguson. Stay away from 2539 Plantation Drive in East Point. We are on position 32 and 33, and I know that is a duplicate, but on position 32, we are entering a null pros. We do ask the defense to stipulate to venue factual basis and identification for the purposes of the plea, and we would like to sound for Ms. Valadia Ferguson.
We do stipulate for the purpose of plea.
Thank you. Ms. Ferguson? All right. Ms. Page, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am.
And have you understood what's going on in your cases?
Yes, I do.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you entering this plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
I plead no low.
Well, is that the stipulation?
It was not, and the state does not agree to a no low plea on this.
What? I'm missing. I will set my 12 months probation.
All right, there is no
And-
agreement right now, so there's no plea to move forward with.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Kim, is your client then pleading not guilty and having a trial?
I believe she wants to do guilty. I thought that's the way I understood. Can I just-
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
right,
Whatever
Miss-
helped me go.
Ms. Page, I'm not going to accept your plea if you're just pleading guilty just to get out of jail.
No,
Pleading,
ma'am. I want to do the right thing. I want to do the right thing. Your Honor, please.
so The state is offering the recommendation for a guilty plea only. You said NOLO.
I'm
So
sorry. I plead guilty. I plead guilty. I plead guilty.
I'm going to ask you again, Ms. Page. Are you entering this plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes.
If you enter such a plea, guilty plea to a charge of battery, family violence, and unfortunately, if you get arrested again in the future for the same offense, that would automatically be a felony charge. Has that been explained to you?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you still willing to move forward?
Yes, ma'am.
If you decide to plead guilty to battery, family violence, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial before a judge or a jury. You will not be able to go back to court, have your attorney help you in order to challenge the evidence that would be brought against you, to confront your accuser, listen to their testimony, to be able to present your own defenses and arguments, and also have the prosecution carry its burden to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of battery, family violence from March 18th, 2024?
Guilty.
Are you entering such a plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 24 days, credit for time served 12 days. Your jail time for this case is over, but you will report to probation on Monday, October 14th, before 3 p.m. While you're on probation, you are to have no contact with Valeda Ferguson. You're to stay 200 yards away from her. You're not to communicate with her in any way, form, or manner. You cannot speak to her through a phone, a computer, a third party, and you cannot discuss her on social media. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You're also to stay 200 yards away from 2539 Plantation Drive in East Point. You report probation on Monday and you'll report one every month for once a month until the 12 months are completed. Thank you. Her bench warrant is null pros, position 32. All right. Courtroom 2, who do we have?
We have, position 9 through 12, Mr. Coon.
Mr. Tom White? Okay, that's good. All right. 9,
Good morning, Your Honor.
good morning. Are you counsel for Mr. Cohn?
I am, Judge. It's a negotiated plea.
Okay. This is, let's see. So position 11 and 12 will be null pros if we move forward with the plea. Okay. So, Mr. Tyvanta Cohn, you have 4 cases with us, 2 of which are bench warrants. The first 2 are 20 COV 000164 for criminal trespass. And the second one is 21 CR 5342J for criminal trespass and willful obstruction of an officer. Your other 2 matters are bench warrants from May 11th, 2023 and from August 4th, 2023. Mr. Cohn, you've been advised of your rights. Your attorney is Tom White, who is on Zoom. Do you see him? Do you see him, Mr. Cohn? You need to say yes or no.
Your Honor, he's kind of hard of hearing, so I have the closed captions. And every time you talk, it's like a little delayed with the words. But he is responding saying yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Cohn, you may I place you under oath? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge? You can say yes, or you can nod your head. Let the record reflect that Mr. Cohn is nodding his head. All right, Ms. Falk, as Mr. Cohn is reading the text from his screen, If you could please make your recommendation a little slowly.
Yes, Your Honor. On position 9, the state's recommendation on criminal trespass is time served, 18 days, credit for time served, 9 days. On position 10, the recommendation on criminal trespass is 12 months, serve 18 days, credit for time served, 9 days. Balance suspended, stay away from Valero gas station at 1980 Delow Drive, Southwest. Count 2, time served. The state will null cross count positions 11 and 12. We do ask the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and identification for the purposes of this plea. That is all for the state.
Your Honor, we do stipulate the factual basis and just ask to accept the plea as negotiated.
All right. Mr. Cohn, are you able to verbalize or say yes or no? All right. So when I ask you a question, you can respond with yes or no. Okay?
Okay.
And you have to say it a little louder. Or, okay, let's try. Mr. Cohn, have you consumed any alcohol or medicine recently?
No, ma'am.
I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you. Are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you understood what's been going on in all your 4 cases?
Yes, ma'am.
If you decide to plead guilty to these charges, you would have to give up your right to a trial. You won't be going back to court. You won't confront your accuser. You won't be able to challenge the evidence brought against you. And the prosecutor won't have to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights? Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to 1 count of criminal trespass from May 29, 2020?
Guilty or not guilty?
You have to say guilty or not guilty.
Oh, guilty. Guilty.
Your sentence for this charge is for 18 days, credit for time served 9 days. This case is now closed. How do you plead to 1 count of criminal trespass and willful obstruction of an officer from March 15th, 2020?
Guilty.
For the criminal trespass, your sentence is 12 months to serve 18 days, credit for time served 9 days, balance suspended. There's no additional jail time. There is no probation, but you must stay away from the Valero gas station at 1980 Delow Drive in Southwest Atlanta. If you return to that gas station, you will come back to jail. It's as simple as that. Understood? You need to say yes or no.
Loud, louder.
Yes.
And on the willful obstruction is going to be a time served sentence to serve 18 days, credit for time served 9 days. This case is also now closed. The 2 bench warrants will be dismissed. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, ma'am.
AC/DC, Pat?
This is gonna be on the add-on calendar, positions 1 and 2, Howard.
All right. Miss McLeod isn't here yet, so this is Quincy Catherine Howard, case.
This is
20
actually,
Is that-
I apologize, Your Honor. This is actually, PD Holly's case.
Yes, I see her on screen. Good morning, Ms. Holly.
Good morning, Judge Law.
All right. We have, am I pronouncing your client's name correctly? Is it Quincy?
Quincy Howard, that's correct.
Okay. Ms. Howard has 2 cases on the add-on calendar, 24 CR 2150Y, simple battery family violence from March 31st of this year. The second case is a bench warrant, 24 FTA 1371 from August 12th of this year. Ms. Howard, you've been advised of your rights, and your attorney is Julia Hawley, who is on the Zoom screen. Do you see her?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Falk, what's the recommendation for Ms. Howard on position 1?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommendation is 12 months, served 36 days, credit for time served 18 days from September 7th, 2024 to today, balance probated, MHET, no further contact with Tiffany Howard, stay away from 800 Joseph E. Boone Boulevard Northwest, which is the Simpson Street Church of Christ, and 1349 Trevor's Trail in Conyers. We did remove the ADET provision and just left the MHET provision by negotiation. We are also entering a null pros as to position 2, and Ms. Holly did send me an email. We are prepared to go forward as a guilty plea and not a NOLO plea. That's all for the state. And we would like to sound for Miss Tiffany Howard if she is here today.
Ms. Holly, does the defense stipulate to factual basis, venue, and ID?
We do stipulate.
All right. Ms. Howard, have you consumed, Ms. Tiffany Howard's not responding, but Ms. Catherine Howard or Quincy Howard, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am.
Have you understood what's been going on in your cases?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, ma'am.
If you decide to enter a plea of guilty to the charge of simple battery family violence, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial. You will not get the opportunity to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence that will be brought against you, present your own defenses and arguments, and have the prosecutor prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
May I ask a question, Your Honor?
All right.
So the court is not accepting a plea of NOLO?
The state has said that if we're going forward, negotiated plea with the terms that we've agreed to, that it needs to be a guilty plea.
Okay. That's understood.
Would you still like to move forward, or would you like an opportunity for a trial to challenge this charge? Because right now you're presumed innocent until the state proves the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. But that can only be done during the course of a trial.
Yes, ma'am. I would like to proceed with the plea of guilty.
So are you prepared to give up your rights, as I've just indicated?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, and as you've indicated, simple battery family violence, you're pleading guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 36 days, credit for time served 18 days. The remainder of the time, you're going to be on probation. You will report to the Fulton County Probation Office on Monday, October 14th, before 3 p.m. at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While you are on probation, you will undertake a MH evaluation, and your probation officer will explain that to you, with any qualified healthcare provider. And that must be done within 30 days of being released from the jail. And after your evaluation, you must submit to any treatment and counseling or medication that would be prescribed for you. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You are to have no contact with Tiffany Howard. You're to stay 200 yards away from Tiffany Howard and not have any kind of communication or contact with her. You're to stay away from 800 Joseph E. Boone Boulevard, which is the Simpson Street Church of Christ. You'll need to find another church to go to, but not that one.
Yes,
And-
ma'am.
And you're to also stay away from 1349 Travis Trail in Conyers, Georgia. So these are two specific locations where if you are within 200 yards of either location, you could be arrested and brought back to jail.
Yes, ma'am.
That completes your plea. Your bench warrant will be dismissed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Judge.
Thank you, Ms. Holly.
And that's all my business for today. May I be excused?
Yes, Ms. Holly, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Courtroom 2, who do we have?
We can go to position number 14, Mr. Brent.
Are we still not ready with the interpreter case? I hate to keep Miss Lucia waiting. Mr. White, do you have the interpreter case?
I did not judge. What position are we referring to?
I think it's Lopez. Ms. Kim, is that your client?
I believe that is Mr. White's case, however, it is.
Yes.
Mr. Oh,
Judge, that is my case. We did, give me 1 second. Let me see. Yeah, that case, we reset to 10-17 because of the extra time and the interpreter needed.
And this is Rolando Lopez, correct?
That's correct, Judge.
All right, and that would be, and you're correct, the announcement was reset to October 17th. Are there any other cases that require the services of a Spanish interpreter? Ms. Kim or Mr. White?
I have none, Your Honor.
I have none either.
All right, Ms. Lucia, looks like this case is reset to October 17th. We hope to see you then.
Yes, Your Honor. You have a good day.
You too, thank you. All right, courtroom 2, we have Mr. Brent Cromwell, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Just now we had a Catherine Howard, now it's a Cromwell. I'm sensing a theme over here. All right, so let's start with Mr. Brent Cromwell, 24 CR 6855F. Mr. Cromwell is charged with criminal trespass from October 1st, 2024. Mr. Cromwell, you've been advised of your rights, and your attorney is going to be Mr. Tom White. Do you see Mr. White on the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and may I place you under oath?
So,
The other hand, the other right hand. Perfect. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. On Mr. Cromwell's case, the state's recommendation is, apologies, on the criminal trespass, 12 months served, 26 days, credit for time served 13 days. That's from October 3rd, 2024 to today, balance suspended, and stay away from the Quick Trip located at 4745 State Route 138 in Union City. We do ask the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and identification for the purposes of the plea, and that is all for the state.
So stipulated, Your Honor.
Mr. Cromwell, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
And have you understood what's going on in your case?
I do.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, I am, ma'am.
And are you prepared to give up your constitutional right to a trial, to be able to confront your accuser in a court of law, to be able to challenge the evidence that would be brought against you, present your own defenses and arguments, and have the state prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt? Are you prepared to give up all these rights?
Yes, ma'am. I did plead a no low, but I am prepared to give up the road.
And Judge, we were going to ask for a NOLA. That's my fault.
Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. Let me just check and see if he's had any NOLO pleas in the last 5 years, which would preclude him from pleading NOLO on this case. If not, we're not in disagreement with the NOLO plea. I'm not seeing anything that would preclude him from entering a no-low plea, Your Honor.
Okay,
And the state has no objection.
Mr. Cromwell, the state is willing to accept a nolo contendere plea. So going back to my original question, are you prepared to give up your constitutional rights as I've just listed them?
I really don't understand the NOLO thing. Like how does that work? Like if I was to give up my rights.
Mr. White, I think you need to speak to your client then.
Sure, Judge. I mean, if they could, courtroom
right.
2, have him call me.
Mr. Cromwell, we're going to put your case on hold while Mr. White speaks with you. And then we'll take the next case. ACDC, do we have another case?
Yes, Judge, I have to wait for Ms. McLeod. She hasn't signed back on yet.
Phone down, I'll come over there and put the phone number in.
All right, thank you. Courtroom 2, next case, please.
We can go with position number 54, Mr. Yates.
Okay. I have a couple of pro se cases also, so I don't know whether we're moving with those. All right, this is State versus Andre Yates, 24 CR 2067E. Mr. Yates is accused of battery, family violence, and simple battery, family violence from an August 6, 2022 incident. Mr. Yates also has a bench warrant from August 16, 2024, and the case number is 24 FTA 1489. Mr. Yates, you've been advised of your rights, and your attorney is Ms. Kim. May I place you under oath? Thank you. I didn't realize my camera was off. Sorry about that. Mr. Yates, if you don't mind, thank you. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge? I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
I do.
Thank you. You may lower your hand. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. As to Mr. Yates' case, the family violence battery state's recommendation is 12 months served 34 days, credit for time served 17 days, from April 19th to April 24th, June 13th through June 17th, and October 2nd to today. Balance probated, no further violent contact with Alicia Yates, FVIP, on the count 2 simple battery that will merge with count 1. We are also agreeing to null pros position 55 as part of this plea. We would like to sound for Miss Alicia Yates and would ask the defense stipulate to venue factual basis and identification for the purposes of the plea. That's all for the state.
Yes, we do stipulate.
All right. And this is a guilty plea, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Yates, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
And have you understood what's going on in your case?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, ma'am.
And has it been explained to you that pleading guilty to a battery, family violence will go on your criminal history record? Any subsequent arrests for a same or similar charge will automatically be a felony charge. Has that been explained to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you still willing to move forward freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, ma'am.
The customer you are calling is not available.
Is he ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. In that case, Mr. Yates, if you decide to enter this guilty plea, you would have to give up your constitutional rights. And these rights will be your opportunity to go back to court, to face your accuser before a judge or a jury during the course of a trial. Your right to present your own defenses and arguments, to challenge the evidence that will be brought against you, and have the prosecutor carry its burden to prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of battery, family violence?
Yes.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 34 days, credit for time served 17 days. You will report to probation on Monday, October 14th before 3 p.m. at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While on probation, you will complete a domestic violence intervention program, and you must enroll in that program within 30 days of being released. This is a 26-week program, so you must pay and attend every one of those 26 classes without failure. You're also to have no violent contact with Alicia Yates, which means that you can have communication and contact with Miss Yates if she wants it,
Hello?
but there cannot be any physical or verbal altercations. You'll report to probation every month until the probation term is over. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
Warren will be dismissed.
Thank you. Yeah, put that down. Go in the back.
All right, okay. So I would like,
Judge, this is gonna be on the add-on calendar, position number 3, temp, and Ms. McLeod did join us back.
All right. Good morning, Miss McLeod. Miss McLeod?
Good morning, Your Honor.
All right, good morning. I'm sorry. There we go. Perfect. Thank you. Ms. McLeod, we have your client, Lark Kemp, who is at the ACDC location, and she's been charged with battery, family violence, and willful obstruction of an officer from February 24th, 2024, and her case number is 24CR901J. She's been advised of her constitutional rights, and how would we like to proceed?
Your Honor, this was going to be a plea, but the court had decided not to accept the plea because my client had another outstanding case. And Ms. Falk was supposed to give us a global recommendation.
That we correct? And has
Right.
problem?
Right. This was added to the calendar and I missed the second case. It wasn't added to the calendar for some reason. So when I was looking at the add-on calendar, I just sent out the recommendation that I had. So that was apologies. If Your Honor will give me about 5 minutes while we're still going through the calendar, I will send out a global recommendation on the second case that was omitted.
Okay. All right.
That
Ms.
would be fine.
McLeod
Thank
and
you.
Deputy Francois, please hold while Ms. McLeod gets her recommendation. Then we will place ACDC and Ms. McLeod in a breakout and then see how we go with these cases. All right?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Judge Law, I'm sorry. Ms. Falk, what's the case number for the other case that we're adding?
It's 23CR004721J. And the third case is 24CR004670J.
Oh, I'm sorry. Give me the one you just said again. 24 CR.
For 004670J. So we've got a 4721 and a 4670.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Your Honor, is there a way we can handle one of Ms. McLeod's case in here before she goes into the breakout room?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Ms. McLeod, while we're waiting for Ms. Falk, would you like to address one of your other cases in courtroom 2?
Yes, Your Honor.
Who do we?
This position number 5 through 6.
All right.
The Boozer.
This is Mr. Aquavius Boozer, case 23CR5678B, accused of theft by shoplifting and willful obstruction of an officer from September 20th, 2023. And his second case is position 6, 24CR6604B, accused of theft by receiving stolen property from September 19th, 2024. And Mr. Boozer, you've been advised of your rights, and your attorney is Ms. McLeod. Ms. McLeod?
This is going to be a negotiated plea this morning, Your Honor.
All right. So this is going to be we've got the global recommendation for both cases. Mr. Boozer, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
I do, Your Honor.
Ms. Falk, what's the recommendation for Mr. Aquavius Boozer?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommendation on Mr. Boozer's cases are on position 5. The state's recommendation is on theft by shoplifting 12 months concurrent with count 2. as well as an anti-theft course and a $500 fine. Count 2, 12 months served, 64 days, credit for time served, 32 days, from September 21st to 22nd of 2023, July 15th, 2024 to August 13th of 2024. And we are doing balance probated on that. Stay away from Walgreens located at 25 Peachtree Street Northwest in Atlanta, a $300 fine and 40 hours of community service. On position 6, the theft by receiving stolen property, 12 months served, 28 days, credit for time served, 14 days, from September 20th, 2024 to today. Balance probated and anti-theft course, stay away from 185 Mitchell Street Southwest. That's going to run concurrent with the previous case, and that is all. We do ask the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and identification for the purposes of the plea.
We do so stipulate.
And Ms. McLeod, your client understands that this is just one anti-theft class to apply to both cases.
Right, that I explained to him that it would only be one.
All right. Mr. Boozer, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am.
And have you understood what's going on in both your cases?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, ma'am.
And if you decide to enter a guilty plea to these charges, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial before a judge or a jury. You will not get the opportunity to go back to court, to confront your accuser, to be able to challenge the evidence that would be brought before you, to have the assistance of counsel to present your defenses and arguments, and also give up your right to have the prosecutor prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you entering a guilty plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of theft by shoplifting and willful obstruction of an officer at a Walgreens on September 20th of last year?
Yes.
How do you plead to theft by receiving stolen property from September 19th of this year?
Guilty.
For position 5, on count 2, willful obstruction, the sentence is 12 months to serve 64 days, credit for time served 32 days, and the remainder of the time will be on probation. If you have no other holds, you will report to probation on Monday, October 14th at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While you're on probation, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I understand.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
While you're on probation, you are to stay 200 yards away from the Walgreens at 25 Peachtree Street in Atlanta, Georgia. So that's quite a big distance. You're going to have to stay away from 25 Peachtree Street, quite far away.
Ma'am, may I say something?
Yeah.
That Walgreens is no longer in business, so I won't have a problem staying away from that.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you just said. The Walgreens.
He said, Your Honor, that the Walgreens is no longer there.
Okay.
It's
So what
been
is there now? Some other shop?
Apparently,
Okay.
but it's been closed. He did tell me that.
All right. In that case, Mr. Boozer, for purposes of probation, you have to stay away from the address, 25 Peachtree Street, and I don't care what business is out there.
Yes, ma'am.
You are to pay a $300 fine for the willful obstruction and do 40 hours of voluntary community service. For the $300 fine, you will pay a minimum of $20 per month and $20 every month thereafter. And towards the end of probation, make sure all of it is paid off. On the 40 hours of community service, you have to do at least 5 hours of community service minimum, and at 5 hours minimum every month thereafter, or you can try to finish up the 40 hours as soon as possible. You do that at any nonprofit agency that's not a church and not a school. On the theft by shoplifting, it's going to be 12 months probation concurrent with count 2, and you are to do an anti-theft class. So you are to enroll in an anti-theft class within 30 days of being released. There's also an additional $500 fine. And for that, you must pay a minimum of $50 every month and until the entire fine is paid off. So now we have a total of an $800 fine. Moving on to position 6, how do you plead to one count of theft by, you've already pled guilty to that. Your sentence is 12 months to serve 28 days, credit for time served 14 days. Anti-theft class that I'm already sentenced you to, you need to make sure you get that done because that will also apply to this conviction for theft by receiving. And for this particular matter, you have to stay away from 185 Mitchell Street in Southwest Atlanta. So there are 2 places in downtown Atlanta that you need to stay away from. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and that is your sentence. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. And Ms. Falk, have you received the amended recommendation from Ms.
I'm working on it now, Your Honor.
Thank you. Courtroom 2, who do we have next?
We can go with one of the pro se.
All right, I have one on the add-on calendar and one on the main calendar. Who do we have first?
The one on the add-on refused to come.
Ensign Smith?
Yes,
Where is he right now?
he refused to come to court.
He
He's not, yeah, he's not in the courtroom.
And Your Honor, he refused last court date as well. He would not speak with me.
Is there something you said, Mr. White?
No, he looked in the booth, said, "That's not my attorney," and turned around and walked away. I didn't even have a chance to speak with him.
Okay, I'm just going to reset him out 2 weeks and maybe he'll talk to us then. And Deputy, if he would eventually just tell us the name of his attorney, we'll be glad to contact that person. But this case is reset 2 weeks out, and that's going to be the 24th. Is that correct? Okay, then we have another pro se on the all-purpose main calendar. I think it was,
Mr. Smith, position 43 and 44.
okay. Mr. White, there was somebody else who refused an interview. It was Cortez Wright. Is that with you too, or?
Not assigned to me, so.
Position 53.
Right.
Cortez
He was not.
Right.
All right, let's see if he wants to do anything. Okay. Joseph Smith and courtroom 2. Mr. Smith, good morning. My name is Judge Law, and your case number is 24 CR 3293H. You have been formally accused by the prosecutor of theft by shoplifting and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer from May 27, 2024. You also have a bench warrant for failure to appear in court, and that case number is 24 FTA 1501, failure to appear in court on August 26, 2024. With respect to both these cases, Mr. Smith, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you choose to say about these cases in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney if you cannot afford one. The Public Defender's Office is on standby to represent you. And if you choose to decline their services, then you have to do so freely, willingly, and knowingly. You then would have the option of hiring your own attorney or representing yourself. If you choose to represent yourself, then please understand that the court is not in a position to give you legal advice. You would have to have done your own research and understand how the laws of the crimes relevant to you, as well as criminal procedure, apply to the facts of your case. You would also have to understand the consequences of any legal decision that you make and the impact it may have upon your personal freedom, upon any other open cases you may have, upon your residency if it's applicable, and also upon possible applications for a job. How would you like to proceed, Mr. Smith? Would you like to have a public defense attorney Would you like to hire your own attorney or would you like to represent yourself?
Attorney,
Repeat.
appointed attorney.
I'm sorry, sir, you're mumbling. Could you repeat your sentence?
Attorney,
You have an attorney? Who is it?
Plead guilty. I cannot. Kim, you let her know that. Okay, he wants to plead guilty, but I cannot advise him to take the plea. So I cannot represent him and withdraw.
All right.
And he seems not understanding my part.
All right. Mr. Smith, apparently, your attorney is indicating that they want to withdraw from your case, the public defender's office, on the grounds that they don't believe how you would like to proceed would be the proper or the recommended course of action. So would you like to speak with your attorney a little longer to listen to their advice?
yes.
All right, Ms. Kim, you would need to confer with him.
Sure.
All right, and so from what I understand, all right, so let's move on to anyone else.
Your Honor, I have two other clients that I have not yet spoken with. It's position 24, Mr. Ladarius Johnson, and position 39, Mr. Lyle Sanders.
Conflict, do we have, excuse me, I do apologize, courtroom, courtroom 2, do we have any of these two defendants in courtroom 2, 24 and 39?
Hold on, Your Honor, let me take a look.
And Your Honor, while courtroom 2 is looking, we can make a recommendation on Lark Kemp's theft of mislaid property. However, at this time, we cannot make a recommendation on the family violence battery from 2023. There are indications that that case may be a felony, and so I'm getting the paperwork from the victim advocate so I can send that up to the DA's office.
All right, this is going back to which case, the battery family violence, was it the
23 CR 004721J.
all right,
No what?
and on the latter case, the theft of mislaid property. All right, have you communicated the offer to Ms. McLeod?
I'm about to on the theft of lost or mislaid property. I just wanted to make the announcement on the other case.
All right, go ahead and send it to Ms. McLeod. Ms. McLeod, once you receive that, would you still like to proceed with the breakout?
Yes, Your Honor. But it seems since she cannot resolve all of these cases, it might be a good idea if I go ahead with a request for her bond to be modified to a signature bond, Your Honor.
Well, we're going to address that later, but right now I need you to speak to her to understand that she needs to address all three cases, whether she wants to plead to 2 out of 3, and then we will address a bond hearing.
I will speak to her about it once I get the offer.
Okay. So.
And in courtroom 2, we don't have those defendants. They will be calling you, Ms. McLeod, because they're on the floor.
Okay.
Your Honor, I have conferred with Mr. Cromwell and we're ready to proceed on that one.
All right. Brent Cromwell.
If you'll recall, Judge, we got into the NOLO and a little bit of confusion, but he understands exactly what he's doing now. So
Okay. So Mr. Brent Cromwell, as my last question was, are you willing to give up your constitutional rights as I've indicated, or would you like me to repeat them?
No, I am willing to give up my constitutional rights, ma'am.
And how do you plead to 1 count of criminal trespass?
No.
I accept your NOLO plea. Your sentence is going to be 12 months to serve 26 days, credit for time served 13 days. The remainder of your sentence is going to be suspended. However, you cannot return to the Quick Trip or the QT gas station at 4745 State Route 138 in Union City, Georgia.
Yes,
If
ma'am.
you go to that location and they spot you, you may jolly well be arrested and back in jail.
I understand, ma'am. I will not be there anymore. I'll stay away from that area, ma'am.
We recorded this proceeding, and if I see you here again, we'll remind you of it. Thank you. You go.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good luck, Mr. Cromwell.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Quorum two, we're still waiting anyone because ACDC is going to go into a breakout.
Yes. So in position number 51, Mr. Weeds.
51. This is State versus Joseph Wheat, and I guess we found him, Ms. Kim. So how would you like to proceed?
He would like to do a negotiated plea, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Joseph Wheat's case number is 24 CR 6740D. Mr. Wheat, you've been advised of your constitutional right to remain silent and to counsel. Your attorney is Ms. Kim, and may I place you under oath? Mr. Wheat, may I place you under oath? Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Ma'am.
All right. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. On the criminal trespass, 12 months served 30 days, credit for time served 15 days. Balance suspended, stay away from Texaco gas station located at 3749 Campbellton Road Southwest. We do ask the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and identification for the purposes of the plea. That's all for the state.
Yes, we do stipulate for the purpose of the plea.
Mr. Wheat, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
And have you understood what's going on in your case?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you entering this guilty plea to criminal trespass freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Really? Well.
I'm sorry,
Yes.
the audio went in and out. Mr. Wheat, I didn't hear you clearly. Are you deciding to plead guilty freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes.
If you decide to enter this plea, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial. You will not get a chance to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence that we brought against you, be able to present your own defenses and arguments, and have the state prove the charge beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead one count of criminal trespass?
Yes.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 30 days, credit for time served 15 days, balance suspended. Even though the case is now closed, you are still required to stay away from the Texaco gas station at 3749 Campbellton Road in Southwest Atlanta. If you return to that location, you will be arrested and brought back to jail. And we get to do this all over again. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
You gotta see the blue chair back there. Can me and Simon can back there. Your Honor, we can go back to Mr. Smith. That is position number 43 to 44.
Oh, two, no.
43 and 44?
Yeah.
Hello?
All right. Ms. Kim, how would we like to proceed with Mr. Joseph Smith?
So?
I apologize. I'm holding on to the paperwork. He would like to go as a pro se, and he would like to plead guilty.
Mr. Smith, going back to your case, 24 CR 003-293H. It appears that the Public Defender's Office is declining from representing you. How would you like to proceed with your other choices of representation? You can either hire your own attorney or choose to represent yourself.
At this moment, excuse me.
Her name is Miss Kim. Her
Miss
name
Kim,
is Kim.
I know he's supposed to be talking to you.
I haven't had a chance yet.
Your Honor, can we go back to this case a little later? At the end of the- Thank you.
We can go to Ms. McLeod's case at ACDC. Okay.
My Odyssey seems to have, Mr. Strong, do we have an issue with Odyssey?
Not that I know of. I'm using it.
You still on it? Okay, might be on my end then. All right, anyways, Ms. McLeod's case with Ms. Kemp. All right, ACDC is there. Ms. Kemp has been advised of her rights. And how are we proceeding, Ms. McLeod?
It's going to be a negotiated plea, Your Honor.
All right,
Client has decided to accept the state's offer on those three cases.
all right.
She has bond on the other one, so she'll be able to move on to Clayton County.
All right. So, Ms. Kemp, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so we are proceeding with 24 CR 901J, a charge of battery, family violence, and willful obstruction of an officer from February 24th, 2024. And we are proceeding with 24 CR 004 670J, theft of mislaid property. And Ms. Falk, what's the recommendation, global recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. On count one of the 901J case, 12 months served, 186 days, credit for time served 93 days. That's from February 25th to February 29th and July 13th of 2024 until today. Balance probated, no further violent contact with Alexis Smith. FVIP, no firearms. Count two, 12 months, which is willful obstruction, 12 months concurrent with count one, a $300 fine and 40 hours of community service. On position 24 CR 004670J, the theft of lost or mislaid property, that's going to be 12 months probation consecutive to 24 CR 000901J. No further contact with Anjane Unique Reeves, an anti-theft course, and no and the continued conditions of no further violent contact with Alexis Smith and no firearms. We would like to sound for Ms. Reeves and Ms. Smith, and we do ask the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and identification for the purposes of the plea.
We do so stipulate.
All right, thank you. Sorry, just give me one moment. I'm trying to reconnect to the Odyssey program so that I can. Okay. Ms. Kemp, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, Your Honor.
And have you understood what's going on in all your three cases after you've spoken with your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with your legal services so far?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you willing to enter a guilty plea to two of your three cases freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, Your Honor.
And has it been explained to you that if you decide to enter these pleas, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial? You will
Yes, Your Honor.
You will not get the opportunity to confront your accuser, to be able to challenge the evidence brought against you, have your attorney assist you to present your arguments and defenses, and have the state prove the charges beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead to battery, family violence, and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer in 24 CR 901J?
Guilty, Your Honor.
The sentence on the battery, family violence is going to be 12 months to serve 186 days, credit for time served 93 days. The balance of the time will be probated, and you will report to probation at 132 Mitchell Street, Fulton County Probation, immediately upon your release from your cases or any other holds you have. And that report date will be the first Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday upon your release date. While you're on probation, you are to have no violent contact with Alexis Smith. You are to enroll in a domestic violence intervention program within 30 days of being released and complete all 26 weeks of classes at your expense. You're also not to possess or own any firearms. On the willful obstruction, it will be 12 months probation concurrent with count one, and to pay a $300 fine with a minimum payment of $20 every month, and do 40 hours of community service with a minimum requirement of doing 5 hours every month and 5 hours every month thereafter. That must be done with any nonprofit agency that's not a church and not a school. With regards to 24 CR 004670J, how do you plead to 12 months, how do you plead to theft of mislaid property?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Sentence is 12 months probation consecutive to case 24 CR 901J. That means you will have an additional year of probation. While you are on that additional year of probation, you have to have no further contact with Anjanae Smith and to enroll and complete an anti-theft class. And you can do that in your first year of probation, or you can do that in your second year of probation, but it must be completed by the time before your probation is ended. And again, no firearms. That concludes your sentence. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. McLeod, you wanted to address the bond? Is that?
No, Your Honor, since she's gonna take the plea, she has gone on her other case. That's my understanding.
And have you all filed a waiver of arraignment in the 23 CR 4721J?
I believe so, Your Honor, but I will check, and if it hasn't been done, I will do that.
All right, so I'm going to further notice that case for trial.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, let's see who's on medical or jail court. Friends, we've concluded.
I'll call my attorney.
This is jail court iPhones. Ms. McLeod, this is Mr. Johnson. I believe you need to talk to him.
Yes, I do need to speak with them.
All right, before we go into a breakout, medical, who do we have?
Have position number 46, but position number 20, Larry Galat. He refused.
All right. Ms. McLeod and jail court iPhone, you will get a message to go into a breakout. Ms. Strong, Ms.
Yes,
Chan.
Your Honor.
All right.
I'm sorry, I missed the last announcement. Who refused? 20, was it 26?
No, position number 20, Larry Galat.
Okay.
But this is position number 46, Mr. Sullivan.
All right.
Hold on.
Larry Galet refused to come. Mr. White, would you like to reset him to next Thursday?
Judge, I'd like to reset him to Tuesday if possible. I mean, he had a time served offer. He did accept it yesterday. He seemed to understand what was going on. So if we could get him on the Tuesday calendar, that'd be better. I understand if we cannot, though.
Next Tuesday, the 15th, we have 57 cases on a 35 count calendar. I guess we'll see him on Thursday.
Okay, Judge.
So Larry Galet is reset to October 17th. And then we're moving to 46, who is at the medical unit, and that would be Mr. Harold Sullivan. Are you Harold Sullivan?
Yes, mademoiselle, I am.
All right, Mr. Harold Sullivan, my name is Judge.
I just want to apologize about the inconvenience of my own status and things.
Medical, I'm sorry, you have to unmute.
Yes, I was on annual prescription medicine.
He's come out the
Oh, and I
three
got
dogs,
a flashcard with my gift card.
Harold Sullivan, if you could remain muted for us, if you can remain silent for a moment. Remain silent. Thank you. Mr. Sullivan, the reason you are at jail is because we have a case against you, 24 CR 6738C, and you're accused of criminal trespass at the Marriott Marquis on September 27, 2024. Mr. Sullivan, listen very carefully. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say about your case during these proceedings, your statements can and will be used against you in the treatment of your case. You have a right to an attorney. And your attorney at the present time is going to be Ms. Kim. Ms. Kim, is that your client?
I couldn't hear. What's the number? I was busy with Mr. Smith. What's the number?
46.
46. Yes, I believe so.
All right. So, Mr. Sullivan, the young lady on the screen, Ms. in courtroom 2, is your attorney, Ms. Kim. If you want to say anything, I highly recommend that you say it to her when you are both able to do it without all of us being present. Do you understand your right to remain silent? Mr. Sullivan, do you understand your right to remain silent?
No.
I want to plead the fifth under the Martin Luther King Act because I want my relevancy to go down to 0 before I wasn't trespassing. I was on state patrol line, and I think I found the killer that evacuated me.
So, Liver, please, you have a right to remain silent.
Oh, I just wanted to let myself for this to ground zero if I can be undercover.
Your Honor, can we have a breakout room, Your Honor? I request for.
Do you want to confer with him?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
I just wanted to plead the fifth.
All right, so he's going to be pleading not guilty.
No, it was disorderly conduct. I just took my injection. I'm on.
I would like to ask for a breakout room with a solicitor and judge, Your Honor.
All right.
How about him?
Medical, please mute. Medical, please mute your Zoom. Miss Strong, could you please courtroom 2, Miss Falk, and well, I'm not sure how that's going to be confidential. You have an audience behind you, Miss.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, we do. Can we,
What about your laptop?
I can use my laptop and go to another room, Your Honor.
Okay.
Okay.
Miss McLeod, do you have an announcement for case at Jail Court iPhone?
Yes, Your Honor, but I think I need to go back into the breakout room because I think the officer was trying to speak to me when I was leaving and I didn't hear what he said because I'd already clicked the button.
No, I'm right here, Ms. McLeod, I'm right here. I just wanted to ask, did you need to talk to Lyle Sanders?
Yes.
Okay, I'll go down and call you from there.
Thank you.
Okay, that's all. That's what I had to ask.
Okay.
All right. So, Miss McLeod, we have position 24. Was that Lindarius Johnson?
Yes, Your Honor.
And how would we be proceeding?
It's going to be a negotiated plea.
All right. If Lindarius Johnson could appear at Jail Court iPhone. Oh, Jail Court iPhone, we disappeared. Deputy, may we have Mr. Johnson, please? Mr. Lindarius Johnson, you are a offense of battery from 22 CR 82258. You have a right to remain silent about your case. Anything you choose to say about the facts of your case, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and Ms. Maureen McLeod is your counsel. I understand from your attorney that you would like to proceed with a negotiated plea of guilty to this charge. Would that be correct?
Yes.
All right. In that case, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
What's the recommendation for Lindarius Johnson?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommendation on this case is 12 months served 10 days, credit for time served 5 days. That's going to be from 12/10 to 12/14 of 2022. Balance probated, no further contact with Kiwana Jones. Stay away from 584 Greyhawk Way, 8 weeks anger management, no firearms. We would like to sound at this time for Kiwana Jones. And I believe Mr. Johnson is currently in custody. I don't believe he's in custody on this case. It actually appears like he is in custody for multiple cases associated with an SC number.
Okay. Ms. McLeod? Do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
I do, Your Honor.
And does your client presently have other holds?
He does, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Lindarius Johnson, have you
Yes.
consumed any medicine or alcohol?
Huh?
Have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
Nah, I've been locked up 4 months.
Okay. And have you understood what's going on in this case involving battery from December 2022?
Yeah, so I'm taking probation. Time served, credit time served. I'm taking probation 12 months.
All right, but you understand that probation won't begin until you are released from jail from your other cases.
Yes, ma'am.
And are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you entering a guilty plea to the battery charge freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, ma'am.
So you understand that if you enter this plea, you will have to give up your right to a trial. You will not get the chance to go back to court to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, and have the state prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yes, ma'am.
Has all that been explained to you by your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you waive such rights?
Huh?
Do you waive your constitutional rights to a trial?
Yes.
How do you plead to one count of battery involving Kiwana Jones from December 10th, 2022?
Yes.
How do you plead?
Guilty.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 10 days, credit for time 5 days. Once you are released from all your other holds, you will report to the Fulton County Probation to begin your probation term. While you're on probation for this case, you are to have no contact with Kiwana Jones. You're to stay 200 yards away from her and not communicate with her in any way, form, or manner. You're also to stay away from 584 Greyhawk Way in Atlanta, Georgia. You will enroll and complete 8 anger management classes within 60 days of starting your probation, and you must complete all 8 classes. And at all times, you're not allowed to own a firearm. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Jail court iPhone will be with you very shortly with regards to Ms. McLeod's other case. And Ms. Strong, if you could place Ms. Kim and Ms. Falk and myself in a breakout room, just the 3 of us.
Can y'all kind of get, make it kind of snappy because he getting irritable. He's on 3 dogs and I'm not gonna keep tolerating him up here.
All right, Deputy, if you believe he should be removed, go ahead and do so. Don't wait on us, okay? Thank you. Ms. Strong, if you could place Ms. Kim, Ms. Falk, and myself in a breakout.
Ms. Champion is gonna take care of it, Judge. I'm the
sorry.
litigation manager for today.
Sorry about that. All right. Oh, Ms. Champion, has everyone been muted?
No, ma'am.
All right. I just saw a message. The host has muted everyone, so I just want to be sure that's not the case. All right. medical, if you're still there with Mr. Solomon? Is medical still on Zoom?
Your Honor, I believe they brought him back.
Okay, position 46, Harold Sullivan. Per defense request, the case is reset to October 17th at 11 a.m. for our MH calendar. Thank you.
If we can go to position number 23, Mr. Hutchinson.
All right, Ms. Kim, if you need to go back into courtroom 2, that'll be fine.
This is Mr. White's case.
All right, this is State versus Alan Hutchinson, accused of battery, family violence, 2 counts of cruelty in the 3rd degree, and 1 count of simple battery for a total of 4 charges stemming from October 31st, 2023. Mr. Hutchinson, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. Tom White. And Mr. White, this is still going to be a negotiated plea?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Hutchinson, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Falk, what's the recommendation for Mr. Hutchinson?
On count 1, state's recommendation is 12 months served 30 days, credit for time served 15 days from September 26, 2024 until today. Balance probated, no further contact with Robin Green, FT and AT. Stay away from 328 Twin Hill Road, FVIP, ADET, and no firearms. On count 2, 3, and 4, those will run 12 months concurrent with count 1. We did have an opportunity to speak with Miss Robin Green. She does state she wants no contact, ADET, and a stay away order, and that he does not have any items in the home and no police escort is needed. We would like to sound from Miss Robin Green and do ask the defense to stipulate to venue factual basis and identification for the purposes of the plea.
So stipulated, Your Honor, we would just ask for a waiver of probation fees for as long as possible so that he's been in jail now 15 days. I'm not sure about employment, and the FVIP class, as you know, will cost him at least $600.
All right, we're in early part of, he doesn't have additional jail time. We're in the early part of October, November, December. I will waive probation fees until December 31st, 2024. He will start paying probation fees on the first day of January in 2025. Mr. Hutchinson, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am.
And have you understood what's going on in your case?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, ma'am.
And has it been explained to you that pleading guilty and having a conviction for battery, family violence can result that any subsequent arrest for a same or similar offense will be automatically a felony charge?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you still willing to move forward with this plea?
Yes, ma'am.
If you decide to plead guilty, you would have to give up your right to a trial. You will not be able to go back to court with your attorney to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence to be brought before you, present your own defenses and arguments, and have the state prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you entering this plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to battery, family violence, 2 counts of cruelty in the 3rd degree, and 1 count of simple battery, family violence?
Yes.
On the counts 2, 3, and 4, they are going to merge into count 1. Count 1, which is battery, family violence, your sentence is 12 months to serve 30 days, credit for time served 15 days. If you have no other holds, you'll be released within 24 hours, but you must report to the Fulton County Probation Office on Monday, October 14th, 2024, before 3 p.m. While you are on probation, you will enroll and complete a 26-week program called a Domestic Violence Intervention Program. You must enroll in that program within 30 days of being released. Your probation fees will be waived up to and including December 31st, 2024, but you will start paying probation fees on January 1st, 2025, and every month thereafter. While on probation, you're also to have no contact with Robin Green and with the minors identified as FT and AT. You are to stay 200 yards away from Miss Green and these minor children, and also to stay away from 328 Twin Hill Road in Atlanta, Georgia. Within 15 days of being released, you are to submit to an alcohol and drug evaluation with any qualified healthcare provider, and you must submit yourself to any treatment, counseling, or medication at your expense. And due to the conviction for a family violence charge, you are not allowed to own or possess any firearms. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge, I just want to confirm 23, they're concurrent, not merging, right?
They are concurrent.
They are concurrent.
Okay, thank you.
That's 2, 3, and 4.
Position number 13, Mr. Cook.
Deputy, on Mr. Sullivan, his case is reset to October 17th at 11 a.m. So he may not have to be brought out.
Okay, thank you.
Position 13, we have Davis Braid Cook, 24 CR 67298, accused of loitering and prowling, willful obstruction of an officer, and theft by taking. Mr. Cook, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say about your case, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you is Miss Kim. Oh, Mr. White, sorry, Mr. White. And Mr. White, this is going to be a negotiated plea.
It is, Your Honor.
Mr. Cook, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the information you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. The recommendation as to Mr. Cook on the count 1 of loitering and prowling is 12 months concurrent with count 2. On count 2, the willful obstruction, 12 months served 30 days. Credit for time served 15 days. That's going to be from September 26th to today's date. Balance probated, a $300 fine. On count 3, the theft by taking, 12 months served 30 days. Credit for time served 15 days from September 26, 2024. Balance probated, anti-theft course, and stay away from Georgia Tech property. We do ask the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and identification for the purposes of the plea. That's all for the state.
So stipulated, Your Honor, nothing further.
And Ms. Falk, these are all concurrent, correct?
Yes, they're all running concurrent with one another, Your Honor.
Mr. Cook, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
Medicine? Yes, ma'am.
And after consuming it, are you still able to understand what's going on in your case?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, ma'am.
And has it been explained to you that if you enter a plea, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial? You will not be going back to court to confront your accuser, have a chance to challenge the evidence, present your own defenses and arguments, and have the state prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you entering a plea to these 3 charges freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to 1 count of loitering and prowling? Well, okay.
Right.
No, it's okay. How do you plead to willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer and count 3, theft by taking?
Guilty.
Count 1, loitering and prowling, is 12 months probation to run concurrent with count 2. Count 2, willful obstruction, the sentence is to serve 12 months to serve 30 days. Credit for time served 15 days. The remainder of the time will be on probation. You will report to Fulton County Probation on Monday, October 14th, before 3 p.m. For the willful obstruction, you will also need to pay a $300 fine with a minimum payment of $50 every month and $50 every month thereafter. On count 3, theft by taking, your sentence is 12 months, concurrent to count 2, to serve 30 days, credit for time served 15 days. Again, on probation, concurrent to count 2. There you'll have to do an anti-theft class, and you will enroll in that anti-theft class within 30 days of being released. And you have to stay away from Georgia Tech property for the entire term of your probation. You will report to probation every month. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Courtroom 2. Yes, Mr. Cook?
And I got a hold in DeKalb and Cobb, so I won't be released right away. So I heard you say release on Monday, or what? When if I get out on, I need a report by Monday. Is that going to affect anything?
All right. So since you've got other holds in different jurisdictions, you will have to report to Fulton County Probation on the first Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday immediately following your release from all your holds.
Okay.
So once you've taken care of all your holds, your first date is going to be with Fulton County Probation on a Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, whichever comes earliest following your release.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Courtroom 2, who do we have, please?
Position number 17, Mr. John Gleason.
This is State versus John Gleason, accused of terroristic threats and acts and disorderly conduct. Mr. Gleason, your case number is 24 CR 6834C from August 11th, 2024. Mr. Gleason, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. Tom White. I understand this is going to be a negotiated plea. Mr. Gleason, please raise your right hand. I may need to. You solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge.
Yeah.
Ms. Falk, what's the recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. On Mr. Gleason's case, the state's recommendation is on terroristic threats, 12 months, serve 120 days, credit for time served 60 days. That is from August 11th, 2024 until today, balance probated, 8 weeks of anger management, BHET, no further contact with Brant Barber. Restitution, we have spoken to Mr. Barber and he is declining restitution. He wants the defendant to take that money and get help. So we are declining the restitution and stay away from 794 Highland Avenue Northeast. As to the disorderly conduct, 12 months served 120 days, credit for time served 60 days from August 11th, 2024. Concurrent with count 1, no further contact with Laura Stevens and AS, who is a minor. We again did speak with Mr. Brant Barber. We also spoke with Lauren Stevens. Both of them stated that they don't want any further contact and they do agree with the plea offer. That's all for the state.
Mr. White, do you so stipulate to the factual basis venue ID?
So stipulated, Judge.
Mr. Gleason, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No.
And have you understood what's going on in your case?
Yeah.
Are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yeah.
And if you decide to plead guilty to these charges, do you understand that you'll be on probation and that you are required to stay away from a specific location and specific individuals?
Yeah.
Are you prepared to comply with these conditions?
Yeah.
And are you prepared to give up your constitutional right to a trial in this case?
Yeah.
So you understand that you will not be able to go back to court, confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought before you, and present your own defenses and arguments, and have the state prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
These rights you're prepared to give up?
Yeah.
How do you plead to one count of terroristic threats and acts?
Guilty.
How do you plead to one count of disorderly conduct?
Guilty.
Mr. White, are you aware if he has any other holds? I don't see any presently, at least with Fulton County. Okay.
I'm in agreement, Judge. I don't see any other holds. We would just ask you, waive. He has been in jail now 60 days. Ask waive at least 2 months of probation fee so that he can get started on.
I'll waive his probation fees through the end of this year. You'll need to start paying probation fees from January 1st, 2025. For the terroristic threats, Mr. Gleason, your sentence is going to be 12 months to serve 120 days, credit for time served 60 days. You'll be released within 24 hours. Today is Thursday, October 10th. You will need to report to probation on Monday, October 14th before 3 p.m. The probation office is located at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While you're on probation, you will enroll in a behavioral health evaluation and submit yourself to any treatment that's required. You must do so within 15 days of being released. Do you understand, sir?
Yeah.
You're also to start an 8-week anger management program, and you have to begin those classes within 30 days of being released and complete all 8 classes without failure. At all times, you are to stay away from 794 North Highland Avenue in Northeast Atlanta and have no contact with Brent Barber. On the disorderly conduct charge, you are to serve 12 months, sentenced to 12 months to serve 120 days, credit for time served 60 days, concurrent with count 1. No contact with Laura Stevens and the minor child identified as AS. If you violate the stay away or the no contact provisions, that would be grounds to revoke your probation and have you serve out the rest of the year at the Fulton County Jail. Do you understand, sir?
Yeah.
All right. Make sure you're on probation on Monday, bright and early. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next is gonna be, Mr. Walker, 48 through 50. Joshua Walker.
This will be a waiver of arraignment, and yet we would like to argue for a bond since he does
Okay.
not have a bond.
Understood. Position 48, Mr. Joshua Walker, is case 24 CR 725C, accused of battery, family violence. He's got other matters, position 49, 24 CR 6739C, accused of battery, family violence, and simple battery, family violence. On position 50, it's 24 CR 6741C, accused of simple battery, family violence. And Mr. Walker, you've been advised of your rights. Your attorney is Ms. Kim. And in these particular cases, your attorney is entering a not guilty plea, and the cases are going to be further noticed for trial. Which case are we addressing bond?
I believe that pretrial surrendered his bond on 24 CR 0000725C, and there is no bond yet. I believe so, but let me double check. 24.
That is correct. They did surrender the bond on, it looks like October 9th of 2024, based on the new offenses.
There was yesterday.
All right. So based on his new arrest, I believe he received a cash bond in one of the other cases. So
He did, Your Honor, from you on September 28th of 2024.
in which case?
That would be case number 24 CR 006739C, the battery and simple battery cases.
All right. So I'm assuming he's got a bond in the third case. So yes, position 48. Yes, Ms. Kim, what is the argument?
So we would like to, he has 8 children that he's been taking care of, Your Honor. So he has to take care of his biological child and 7 children that he.
I'm sorry, was that 8 or 7?
Actually, 8 total. He has 8 baby mothers, so he has
8 women?
children. Yes, Your Honor. So he has a lot of financial obligations to take care of his children, Your Honor. He's been very active. He's got a job. He's gainfully employed at a warehouse. He's still pursuing his GED. He has up to 11th grade of education. However, he has been working very, very hard. We would like to request for a bond set for this case, which was surrendered. We would like to reinstate the bond so that he can move forward.
Okay. So, simple battery family violence from December 10th, 2022 involves one Arania Ferguson.
Yes.
And then the case from January 21st, 2024 involves Arania Ferguson. So 2 cases back to back, same victim. He was released from jail, Fulton County Jail, on February 13th, 2024. And now he's back in jail in the same year with new battery family violence charges involving a new victim, Shanta Stanford, where he received his cash bond. And who's his attorney? I'm sorry, not his attorney. Who's my pretrial officer? Sorry, that's what I meant to ask. Oh, Ms. Falk, if you want to elaborate on his GCIC. Oh, Ms. Jackson, good morning. Good morning. Ms. Jackson, we are addressing Joshua Walker, positions 48, 49, and 50. Would you be able to share his GCIC, please?
Okay. Yes, ma'am. He has a total of 9 cycles in the GCIC. His last arrest was February the 11th, 2024 with the City of Atlanta Police Department for battery family violence. Let me just check and see if there are any convictions for you. I do see a conviction. It was in November the 3rd, 2021, a misdemeanor out of Cobb County for simple battery. And I'm still scrolling through it. That's the only conviction that's listed in the GCIC, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Yes,
Your
ma'am.
Honor, I would like to add that this defendant has a pending case in Cobb County from arrest on March 12th, 2023 for simple battery against a person who is 65 years or older who was pregnant at the time of the offense. His history is essentially just a violent history. We have the simple battery conviction. We have these 3 open cases, and then we have an open case in Cobb County for simple battery against a person who is 65 years or older or pregnant at the time. The only other previous case he has that doesn't involve violence is a 2020 case that was null prossed for possession of drugs and well, that's it, just possession of drugs. So the state believes that there is absolutely no basis at this point that's been provided to change any of the IALA factors that existed at the time when Your Honor heard this case at SEA. In fact, unless he's had an additional child in the interim, the same 7 or 8 children that he had at SEA when Your Honor gave him a cash bond are the same children he has now, but that does not outweigh the fact that he is a danger to community, a risk of reoffense. He's shown he's a risk of reoffense, and we believe that the bond is fair and should remain in place. He is actually not entitled to a bond on the bond that was revoked by pretrial services. Although misdemeanors are entitled to a bond, they are not entitled to multiple bonds. He had a bond, he got it revoked because he couldn't follow the conditions of pretrial services, and that's why he's back here. So we ask that that remain in no bond status. That's all for the state. And we would like to sound for the victims if they are here, Shanta Stanford and Ariana Ferguson.
All right, Ms. Kim, I don't see anyone who's chiming in.
I
Yes,
see Shanta Stanford on the
oh, there
screen.
she is.
I'm also here, also Shantae Stanford.
Ms. Stanford, please take your hat off and a quarter.
Oh, sorry.
Ms. Stanford, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the statements you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
All right. So you are involved with Mr. Walker from the July 29th, 2024 incident, which is the most recent one.
Yes.
All right, what would you like to tell us?
I didn't know that he had a past background of battery or anything, but the statements that I made, and I already told the detective and the police that I lied about the statements, they weren't true and they were false. I already spoke to victim's assistant and I told everyone, I gave him a statement. The detective decided to put a warrant out on him anyways because of his past background. Like I said, I didn't know his past background or anything like that. He is a good person to me and my kids do miss him in the household. He has been helping me with my children. I have children that are very kind of unruly, and Josh helps me out a lot with them, and they do miss him. I have not seen, he's not an evil person. I know he has a background, a past, like everyone. I do know that Black men don't get a lot of help, mental help when they're younger, and that stems from them being older and they're having issues like that. I don't have a problem with him coming back home. He's not a threat to me, nor my kids, and I don't have men around my kids at all. And he is very helpful with me and my children. I really need his help right now. He's a big stem in the household. We got into it, and I was angry at him, and I made false statements, not knowing his background. And I didn't know that this would become this situation. I'm hearing his background now, and I can't believe it because we've argued, and we both have, said things to each other, and it has been heated arguments. That day I was mad because his mom gave me and my kids some clothes, and when he left, he did take the clothes with him, and I was mad. And,
So, Ms. Stanford, I understand that you are claiming that you have made false statements to the police officer. And what we're going to do is you're going to speak to you can either go hire your own attorney, or you can speak to victim advocate. You can decide to present an affidavit if you choose to do so. I just need to caution you that if you are claiming under oath that you have made false statements to a law enforcement officer, you are exposing yourself to criminal charges of making false statements under oath, and you could be subject to an arrest as well. And those children may not have you or Mr. Walker to care for them if both of you are in jail. So from this point onwards, I highly caution you.
Okay, yes.
About what statements you're making, and please do not expose yourself to any criminal liability.
Yes, okay, because I do have, but
no,
I understand what you're saying.
I'm done hearing you because what you're telling me is so diametrically opposite to what the officer has placed in a sworn statement. So we're going to have a hearing that the division judge will schedule where you'll be able to testify, the officer will be able to testify, body cam footage video footage may be viewed in order to see what you said on video or what somebody else said on video. And then the judge can decide whether you really made false statements or whether you did not. Okay? All right. So anything else, Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. I would just like to point out as to Ms. Stanford, officers did observe injuries to her arm and leg and neck, which were coinciding with her statement that he attempted to strangle her.
All right. Ms. Kim, final words?
Nothing further from defense, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Walker, I applaud the fact that there are individuals out there who highly appreciate what you do for them. But my greatest concern is that you keep getting arrested for violent offenses. No, your attorney has already explained to you, you have a right to remain silent. Now that your attorney will also explain to you that you have a right to go to trial or have a hearing and have these charges challenged. However, given the nature of your criminal record history, my greatest concern, bond is set at $7,500. It is a surety bond. No further contact with Aranya Ferguson to stay away from 7087 Walton Hill Road. no alcohol, no drugs, and no weapons. Thank you.
Which position was that one on, Judge?
Position 48, bonds amended, his bond has been surrendered, is amended to a 7,500 surety bond. In addition to the bond, Ms. Kim, he'll have to be equipped with a ankle monitor for a period of 12 months at his expense to make sure that he stays away from the alleged victims, which include Shanta Stanford and Aranya Ferguson.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I haven't seen the third one.
Ms. Kim, will you submit the proposed order? And please don't forget the ankle monitor requirement as well. Thank you.
We can go to position number 22, Mr. Christopher Hernandez.
Is that the individual at the jail court iPhone?
No, Your Honor, this is in quorum 2.
Okay, thank you.
And your honor, he's the one I had to speak with this morning, but it is a negotiated plea at this point.
All right, thank you, Mr. White. Christopher Hernandez is charged with theft by shoplifting, 24 CR 6714G from September 24th of this year. Mr. Hernandez, you've been advised of your rights, and your attorney, is going to be Mr. Tom White. Please raise your right hand for the purposes of the plea. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Volk, what's the recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. On Mr. Hernandez, the state's recommendation as to the offense of theft by shoplifting is 12 months, served 30 days, credit for time served 15 days from September 26th of 2024 until today, an anti-theft course, stay away from Madeline's Hair Salon, located at 880 Holcomb Bridge Road. The state would ask the defense to stipulate to venue factual basis and identification for the purposes of the plea. That's all for the state.
So stipulated, your honor. He is probated in this case, and he does have a Forsyth County hold, so he won't be able to report the probation right away.
Mr. Hernandez, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, Your Honor.
And have you understood what's going on in your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you prepared to enter this plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you decide to plead guilty to this charge, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury. You will not be able to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought before you, present any defenses or arguments if you choose to do so, and have to state prove the charge beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
How do you plead to one count of theft by shoplifting?
No.
Guilty, Your Honor.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 30 days, credit for time served 15 days. Once you have resolved all your other jurisdictional holds, whether it's in other counties or whether it's in this county, and upon your immediate release, you are to report to probation, Fulton County Probation, on the first available Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday following your release. You will report to probation for the remainder of the 12 months, which is going to be 11 months and 11 and a half months of probation. You will enroll and complete an anti-theft class, and you must enroll in that class within 30 days of being released. At all times, you have to stay away from Madeline's Hair Salon, located at 880 Holcomb Bridge Road in Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We can go to jail court's iPhone.
All right, I don't know if they're ready, but let's see.
Yeah, we are, this is position number, hold on, give me 1 second.
Or a name?
This is Mr. Miles.
Christopher Miles.
Position number 39.
Okay, thank you. Is this Lyle Sanders?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Sanders' attorney is Ms. McLeod. Ms. McLeod, are you still?
I am here, Your Honor.
All right, would you need to speak with Mr. Sanders?
I have already spoken with Mr. Sanders, Your Honor. This is going to be a negotiated plea.
All right. This is State versus Lyle Sanders, accused of violating a family violence protective order, case number 24CR 66211. Mr. Sanders, you have a right to remain silent about the facts of the case. Anything you choose to say during this virtual proceeding, your statements can and will be used against you. Treatment of your case. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, Ms. McLeod will be representing you. This is going to be a negotiated plea. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, I do.
Ms. Falk, what's the recommendation? You can put your hand up.
On the offense of violating a protective order, the recommendation is 12 months served 60 days, credit for time served 20 days from September 21st, 2024 until today. Balance probated, no further contact with Sheila McCullough. Stay away from 1975 Plaza Lane Southwest in Atlanta, no firearms. We did have an opportunity to speak with Ms. McCullough, and she does agree with the plea officer, stated she will be on Zoom, so we would like to sound for her. And we do ask the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and identification for the purposes of the plea.
We do so stipulate.
I'm here, Your Honor.
Mr. McCullough, you need your video on.
All right, give me 1 second. It says the host will actually start the video. Okay. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Ms. McCullough, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
What would you like to tell us?
The one thing that I would like to point out here, Your Honor, is that Mr. Lyle Sanders obviously does not respect authority. Whenever the officer came to remove him from the residence, it took him about 10 minutes. He asked him to leave about 10 times and he still wouldn't do it. So with that being said, Your Honor, the only thing that I want to know is there any way that I could drop off his stuff somewhere so he doesn't have to come back to the residence at all?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the rest of what you just said. He cannot come back to the residence.
Ms. McCullough does not want him to return to the residence. Your Honor.
I understand. So what was that about his stuff?
I know that he didn't take his stuff with him because he refused to leave. So I wanted to know if there's any way that I could have his stuff taken to him or maybe put it somewhere where he can get it. That way he doesn't have to come to my residence at all.
Okay, and what stuff are we talking about?
Not really much stuff. I think he has a TV and there's some clothes, container. That's about it. He doesn't own
Are they
it.
in boxes or does it need a moving van? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
They're in containers. So I think it's like 3 containers, a bag, and then a TV.
Okay. And all right, well, I don't have a solution. I don't know what his family arrangements are. All right, Ms. McLeod, do you have a response?
Your Honor, I'm Lyle Sanders' mother.
All right. And I will let you speak very shortly. Thank you. Ms. McLeod, I'm so sorry I lost your video. Folks who are involved.
Yes, I'm right here.
Yeah. So the victim has indicated that she has his personal items and that she doesn't want him to come. I can arrange for a third party to pick up his items from the police precinct.
No, Your Honor.
His mother will be able to do that, Your Honor. She is on the Zoom as well.
She's able to do that from a local police precinct? Ms. McLeod, is that what you're saying?
I am saying that perhaps she will be able to. I haven't actually asked her.
All right. Okay. Mr. Sanders, please lower your hand. I'll give you an opportunity to speak if your attorney deems it appropriate. Mother Sanders.
I want to speak to Ms. McLeod.
Mother Sanders.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Please raise your right hand.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I do.
And what's your full name? You may put your hand down.
Marie Sanders.
All right, Miss Sanders, and are you available to pick up Mr. Sanders' personal belongings?
Miss McLeod lives right down the street from where I live at. She's very familiar with my location, and she's been to my location more than once. So it's not like she's not familiar. If she have to bring loud things to my location, I'm fine with that. But she's very familiar with my location.
That's not going to work out for the court. Miss Sanders, are you willing to pick up the belongings from a local police precinct?
Yes, I will.
All right, thank you. Okay. Anything else to address, Ms. McLeod, before we move on to the plea?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Miss McLeod, under the court is concerned based on what Miss McCullough has said under oath. I'm going to waive probation fees for the first 6 months, but I'm going to require Mr. Sanders to be equipped with an ankle monitor for the first 6 months while he's on probation, and he'll be responsible for the monitoring fees. Would you like to proceed with the plea, or would you like to schedule the case for a trial?
Your Honor, I would not like to proceed with the plea because I do believe that my client, I need to discuss this with him.
All right.
So if we can put it on the next SAP calendar, since he would not be leaving today anyway, he accepted the plea offer.
No, I'll take it. No, I want the plea. I'll take it. I'll take the decision on the monitor. Yes, ma'am. I'll take it, Ms. McLeod. No,
okay, he says he will accept the plea offer, Your Honor.
No more. Please. I'll take the plea. I'm tired of being in here. This place is not fit for human. I want to leave. It's not.
I believe he's indicated that he does want to accept the state's plea offer, Your Honor, including the ankle monitor.
I'll take the plea.
Ms. State versus Lyle Sanders. All right, Mr. Sanders has already been placed under oath. Mr. Sanders, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
I'm on medication all the time now. That's the reason why I refuse to leave my house, because I'm on medication all the time. Instead of being homeless, I told the police, I can't afford to be homeless. I have a heart condition. You put me out my house. This is where I live. All my personal property, she got it. I don't have nothing, Your Honor. She's got it.
Mr. Sanders.
She put me out my house. I have a heart condition.
Mr. Sanders, you have the right to remain silent. As your attorney, I would suggest that you do not speak. At this point, you're accepting the plea. So this is just a vote.
The terms, yeah. I agree to the terms, Your Honor.
All right, first thing, jail court iPhone, the audio is pretty bad. Do you have a better location where the Wi-Fi is better?
I'll just put it on mute till it's time for him to talk.
And Mr. Sanders, your attorney has advised you to remain silent. Now, from what I've heard so far, I don't think you're pleading guilty because you believe that you committed this crime. I believe you're pleading guilty just to get out of jail. So I'm going to ask you some questions. Listen very carefully, because I can reset this for 1 week out. I can reset this for 1 month out. All right? So if you don't want to pay attention, you are just proving to me that you don't listen to instructions. Now, I'm going to ask you some questions. By law, I have to make sure that you are pleading guilty because you believe you committed the crime, and that you are remorseful, and that you will comply with the conditions of your sentence. When I ask you a question, you can simply say yes or no. If you want to explain it, that's your right. but I don't think your attorney is going to be happy with you. Do you understand? Now, you may
Yes,
unmute.
ma'am.
Mr. Sanders, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
Just medication I use for my health. That's all. No alcohol. I do not drink at all.
And Mr. Sanders, even after consuming your medicine, are you able to understand what's going on in your case?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
And have you and your attorney discussed your waiver of rights?
Yes, ma'am. Definitely discuss it. Yes.
If you decide to plead guilty to violating Family Violence Protective Order, you would have to give up your right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury. You will not get the opportunity to confront your accuser, to be able to challenge the evidence brought against you, to be able to present your defenses and any arguments you may have with the assistance of your attorney, and to also waive your right to have the prosecutor prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these constitutional rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you entering this guilty plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of violating a Family Violence Protective Order?
I'm guilty.
Repeat.
I'm guilty, ma'am.
Your sentence is going to be 12 months to serve 60 days, credit for time served 20 days. With the 2-for-1 calculation by the sheriff, you have 10 more days to serve at the jail. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Once the 10 days have lapsed, you will be released. You must report to the Fulton County Probation on the first available Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, whichever is earliest. And you must report to Fulton County Probation at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While on probation, I will waive your probation fees for the first 6 months. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Upon your release from the Fulton County Jail, you will be equipped with an ankle monitor. And you will be required to pay your monitoring fees for that ankle monitor for the first 6 months. Your monitor may be removed from your person on March 31st, 2025. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
This is only if you are in full compliance with all your requirements for probation. These are the other conditions you have. No contact with Sheila McCullough and stay away from 1975 Plaza Lane in Southwest Atlanta. You are to stay 200 yards away from Miss McCullough. You're not to communicate with her in any way, form, or manner. You're not to communicate with her in person, through mail, email, through a third party, through a cell phone, a computer device, and you cannot even discuss her on social media. Do you understand, sir? You are to be in strict compliance with any protective order that's issued against you. And by law,
Will I be able to see my daughter?
And by law, you are not allowed to own any firearms. Do you understand the sentence?
Yes, ma'am. Will I be able to see my daughter?
Do you have a child with Miss McCullough?
Yes, I do.
Is the child born during wedlock or out of wedlock?
It's in wedlock.
Out of
It's in
wedlock?
wedlock, ma'am.
All right.
No, Your Honor, they're married. I think they're going to a divorce at this time. That's my understanding.
I don't know, so y'all need to confirm that. Miss McCullough, Ms. McCullough,
Yes, Your Honor.
are you married to Mr. Lyle Sanders?
Yes, unfortunately, I am married to Mr. Lyle Sanders. We've been married for about 10 years.
Do you have a pending divorce case?
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you. Mr. Sanders, you may respond to the divorce case that's filed against you, and you can ask the family law judge to set up a visitation or custody plan. And that's the only way that you may have contact with your daughter in accordance with the order established by your divorce case. Now, with regards to your personal property, Ms. McCullough and Ms. Marie Sanders will meet at a local police precinct that is closest to your location, Ms. McCullough, and this will be done on Wednesday, October 23rd at 10 a.m.
Wednesday, October 23rd at 10 a.m. Let me write that down in my notes.
Ms. McCullough, you are to transport Mr. Sanders' items. And Ms. Sanders, please arrive at the police precinct closest to your location and Ms. McCullough's.
Can Miss McCullough make sure she had my son's wallet and his cell phone when she returned his item, because they was there at the house?
If there are
No, they weren't. I have neither one of those, Your Honor.
If there are any items that are missing, Mr. Sanders may file a civil suit after his probation is over in order to recover the fair market value of any items that are missing.
Thank you.
So October 23rd at 10 a.m. Ms. McCullough, you have to be there with the items, and you have to inform the local police there that you're here to drop off personal items to Marie Sanders. Mr. Sanders cannot be anywhere near that location. Ms. Sanders, Miss Marie Sanders, if you need assistance, you can bring somebody else, not Lyle Sanders, to assist you with the removal, with the pickup of those items. Do you understand?
Yes, I do. I do.
At the police precinct, if there are any words exchanged, if there's any breach of peace, then the police are authorized to arrest anyone who causes any kind of altercation at the precinct. Do you understand?
Understood, definitely understood.
All right, that concludes the sentence. Thank you.
Your Honor, can I say one thing? I want to say one thing, and that's that the closest police precinct to where we live is the one on Cascade. So I can meet her at the one on Cascade so we can know that we're going to the same one.
Did you hear me, Ms. McCullough? Police precinct.
Okay.
If y'all want to do it separately, it'll be a violation of the order. Y'all take your chances up with it.
Okay.
Your Honor, that concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
I'm sorry, I've got multiple people talking, so. Mr. Sanders?
I have another court date today for the protection order. I have a protection order, civil court date later on today.
That is in Superior Court. Ms. McLeod, he's asking about his family violence court date.
I already spoke to him, Your Honor, and explained to him that the judge would have to give a continuance because he was in jail. He can explain that to the court and they will revisit the case for him once he proves to them that he was actually locked up and was unable to attend.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. That concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Yes, Ms. McLeod. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you. Jail Court iPhone, do you have another case?
35 and 36.
35 and 36. Are you able to hear me all right? Because your audio is going in and out. Okay.
Yes, there's just a lot of background noise on the floor.
No, the audio is going in and out. I'm not hearing background noise. Sometimes I just have to make sure that y'all can hear me.
We can hear you, yes.
Okay. This is Noel Reed, position 35 and 36. Position 35 is a bench warrant, 24 FTA 1499. in which Mr. Reed allegedly failed to appear in court on September 10th of this year. The main case is 21 CR 5671J. Mr. Reed is accused of criminal trespass and battery from December 31st, 2020. Mr. Reed, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say during the course of this proceeding, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you is Ms. Kim. Ms. Kim, this is going to be a negotiated plea.
Yes, Your Honor.
Reed, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Your Honor, did you ask me to give the recommendation?
Oh, yes, please. Thank you.
Okay.
And court, please mute your screen while Ms. Falk is speaking.
All right, Your Honor, on the criminal trespass, it's going to be 12 months concurrent with count 2. On the battery, 12 months served 30 days, credit for time served 15 days. From October 21st to the 23rd of 2021, December 2nd to the 5th of 2023, and October 3rd of 2024 until today, balance probated. No further violent contact with Tricia Rhodes and 8 weeks of anger management. We would like to sound for Ms. Rhodes. We do ask the defense to stipulate to venue factual basis and identification for the purposes of the plea. We are agreeing to null pros position 35, which is the FTA. That's all for the state.
All right. Tricia Rhodes, if you are present, please unmute and start your video. Ms. Kim, do you so stipulate?
Yes, you would do.
All right. Jail code iPhone, please unmute. Uh-oh. Deputy, is the deputy at jail court iPhone? If you could please unmute. Thank you. Mr. Reed, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
No.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, ma'am.
And have you, in your conversations with your attorney, have you understood what's going on in your case?
Yes, ma'am.
If you decide to plead guilty to these charges, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial. You will not be able to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence against you in a court of law, present your own defenses and arguments, and have the prosecution prove the charges beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Ma'am, I am.
Repeat.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
How do you plead?
Yes.
How do you plead to criminal trespass and battery?
Guilty.
On count
Guilty.
2. Thank you.
Guilty.
On count 2, the battery charge, your sentence is 12 months to serve 30 days, credit for time served 15 days. If you have no other holds at the jail, you are to report to probation on Monday, October 14th, before 3 p.m. While you're on probation, you are to complete 8 anger management classes, and you are to enroll in those classes within 30 days of being released. While on probation, you're also to have no violent contact with Tricia Rhodes. You'll report to probation every month until the 11 months of probation are over. On count 1, criminal trespass, it will be 12 months probation concurrent with count 2. Thank you. And the bench warrant is dismissed.
All right, thanks.
Next, we have position number 16, Mr. Jabrou.
This is Mr. Johannes Gebru. Who is representing Mr. Gebru?
I am, Judge.
All right. We are going to waive sounding on the charge. This is 24 CR 6601D. Mr. Johannes Gebru is charged with a misdemeanor offense from September 19th, 2024. Mr. Gebru, the case number is 24 CR 6601D. You have a right to remain silent about the facts of your case. Anything you choose to say can and will be used against you in the treatment of your case. You have a right to an attorney, and your attorney is Mr. Tom White. Do you see Mr. White on the screen?
Yes, I do see Mr. White, and I do have something I want to say. I do have something I want to say, Judge.
Yes or no? Just
If it's okay.
let's stay with yes or no, okay, Mr. Gabru, like we talked about yesterday.
Okay, thank you, Tony. Thank you. If that's okay with you, Judge, I do have something I want to say. If that's okay with you. If that's okay with you.
Mr. Gabru,
Yes,
your
Judge.
attorney has indicated that you should exercise your right to remain silent. Anything you choose to say can and will be used against you, including the court's ability to reject the plea and further notice the case to trial. Would you like
Yes.
to exercise your right to remain silent?
I would want to say something real quick, if that's okay with you, Judge. Miss Judge. Judge
No.
Law.
You need to run it by me first.
Hold on.
All right, Mr. White and jail court, I'm going to place both of you in a breakout.
Apologies, Your Honor.
That's all right. Jail court iPhone, deputy,
Yes.
you're gonna have to go into a breakout with Mr. Gabru and Mr. White.
Okay.
Strong, Ms. Champion, excuse me.
Your Honor, can we revisit position 43 and 44? While they're in the breakout room.
Yes, definitely. I hope it's not Mr. White's case.
No.
All right. Ms. Kim, how are we proceeding with Joseph Smith?
We would like to reset to next Tuesday, Your Honor.
I don't have a spot for next Tuesday. It'll be next Thursday.
Yes, Your Honor.
Joseph Smith is reset to October 17th, SAP calendar. And just for the calendar, is he still being represented by the Public Defender's Office?
Yes.
Kim?
She says yes, Your Honor.
All right. Position 43 and 44 are reset to 10/17. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Forum 2, do we have anyone else to address?
No, Your Honor, not in quorum 2.
Ms. Kim, if you don't mind, I'll just go over the calendar while we're waiting on Mr. White.
Sure.
All right, position 1 and 2. Oh, get back. Sorry about that.
Judge, I believe we have it worked out.
All right. And what was that position again? I'm sorry, it was 14? Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was 16. Okay.
16. That's correct.
All right, Mr. Gabru, as the court was saying, you have the right to remain silent and your attorney is Tom White. And this is going to be a negotiated plea. May I place you under oath? Mr. Gabru, may I place you under oath?
Yes, Judge.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Judge.
All right, Ms. Falk, what's the recommendation for Mr. Johannes Gabru?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommendation on this case is on the offense. We are recommending 12 months served 60 days, credit for time served 22 days from September 19th, 2024 until today. No further contact with Bailey Green. Stay away from 867 Peachtree Street Northwest.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I am actually going to need to speak with him again. I misspoke part of the offer. So I'm going to need another second.
Yes. So White, before I put you in a breakout, could you please let Ms. Falk complete her recommendation so we can see if you have the correct, okay? Go ahead, Ms. Falk.
Judge, I do have the correct one. It's I just was looking at something else when I was speaking with him. And today, he had the correct recommendation yesterday, but then I incorrectly informed him of something just a moment ago.
All right. Jail court iPhone and Mr. White, you can return to the same breakout. Ms. Champion, you would probably have to put them into that breakout room, please. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay, well, I don't think I'll have time to go over the calendar, Ms. Kim. Let me just inquire. iPhone, I have a Donald Wiggins. Which case are you here for? All right.
Good morning, Your Honor. How are you?
Fine, thank you, Mr. Bartel.
Good. I can address that. Mr. Wiggins is the father of Nicholas Wiggins, who is one of the cases on the 11 a.m. calendar. He just wants to be let in for that calendar.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right, we'll wait. And then I have a Raul Santos. Do you know anything about that, Mr. Kim or Ms. Kim or Mr. Bartel?
I don't, Your Honor.
Santes? Hold on, please, Your Honor. I don't think so.
Well, we've been staring at this picture of this gentleman looking at his phone, so.
I'm not sure who Mr. Santos is, Judge.
Me either.
Raul Perez is, Mr. Perez, can you unmute and identify yourself? I mean, you clearly know how to use a phone, so. you need to-
Hello, Your Honor. My name is Raul Perez, and I'm here because I got informed that I had to be hearing a case or follow up about it. The case that I had, like someone hit me on the train station.
Are you a victim?
Yes.
Who is the defendant?
If the defendant, I don't have her name.
Okay.
The person texted me with all the information that I had to be here. Their name on the accused is Pitman Nicholas.
Okay. All right, mute your screen, please, and eventually you'll need to start your video when we address that case. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. White, are we ready to proceed?
Judge, we're going to reset his case for 1 week.
Okay. Position 16 is reset to October 17, 9 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeez.
Mr. Gebru, we will address your case next Thursday. Deputy, we can remove him, please. All right. Courtroom 2, is there anyone else to address?
Not in calling for Your Honor.
Ms. Falk, are you familiar with Raul Perez?
No, Your Honor, and I'm looking for his name in the calendar. I have a copy of the calendar with notes from our victim advocate, and I'm not seeing anyone with that name coming up in our notes. So if he has a case number or defendant's name, I know he said he didn't know the defendant's name, that could help.
All right. Mr. Raul Perez, now you'll need to unmute and start your video. Raul Perez. Okay. Unmute.
Now it works? Yes.
You certainly look a lot different from the picture you've been staring at for the last 3 hours. Okay. Now listen very carefully. We need either the defendant's name or a case number from the text or the email that you got. Cut and paste that information in the chat to Shelley Falk. Ms. Falk, you can just send him a text, a chat ping, like connect with him on. All right. And then Mr. Perez, you respond to that chat by putting the information so we can find out whether you're here for the correct case or whether you're at a wrong Zoom proceeding.
Okay.
All right. So please mute your screen and respond to the chat.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bartel, we're ready to proceed with the competency calendar. If individuals who need to be present for the 11 a.m. competency calendar, including Mr. Wiggins. Mr. Wiggins, I don't see him on the Zoom. Oh, he is on the Zoom. Okay, good. Y'all need to start your video. Everyone who needs to go into the breakout for the 11 a.m. calendar. Mr. Bartel, you're not using Courtroom 2? Okay.
Yes, I am. I'm trying to find a decent chair.
Okay.
All right, we're ready to go.
All right. Mr. Donald Wiggins.
Don't think from home.
All right. Is there anybody else, Mr. Bartel? I don't, okay.
No, I think we're it.
Okay. Ms. Champion, if you can put the individuals whose videos are on in the breakout, please. And Mr. Wiggins, take off your hat. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
You're gonna see a message to join a breakout. Ms. Falk, I think Mr. Perez might be a victim on positions 10 and 11 for our 11 o'clock calendar.
Nick, he sent me a message saying Nicholas Pittman, but let me just go back and double check.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Fannin, who is number 3 on the 11 a.m. calendar, that was a MARTA case, according to my notes. So he may be here on number 3.
Okay.
Um,
Let's wait till we get into the breakout. Ms. Champion is organizing that.
Mr. Santos?
Yes.
I just checked the calendar. That case was on our calendar last week and has been disposed of. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Miss Maldonado. The judge just let me step out to let you know the result of that case.
Oh, okay, it's because I got someone call me on basically text me and tell me that I had to be here today. I know we have a court last week and I couldn't be there. And yeah, so I don't know
Right.
why.
Miss Maldonado has just put her number on the chat. Please give her a call. I have to go back into the breakout room.
On the group chat.
Yes.
I don't see anything right there on the group chat.
He just sent it to everyone. But yes, if you look in the group.
I can tell him the phone number so you can go back.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Santos, do you have something you can write this number down?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, it is 404.
Okay.
668.
Okay.
6551.
All right.
And I'll read it one more time. 404 668 6551.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Maldonado. Thank you. So I should call you now.
So I imagine you can go ahead and give her a call.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Chair Court iPhone, what position is that? You're muted.
Oh, I have no idea. If you're talking about Paul McLean, I don't know.
I'm
I
sorry.
wasn't asking you.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
This is positions 37 and 38, Mr. Rhodes.
Okay, Chair Court iPhone, do you possibly have Paul McLean? His private attorney is on the line and needs to speak to him.
I need to call who? I'm sorry.
Do you have Paul McLean? Is position 28 and 29?
No, I don't have, I can go get him. He was crossed out for some reason, but I can go get him because I'm on his floor.
Yeah, yes, his private attorney is on the line and she needs to speak with him.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'll go grab him.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I have Mr. Paul McLean. Yes.
It's Hanson.
Thank you.
I'm about to put you and your client in a breakout room. So you
Thank you.
Okay, 1 second.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Hold on.
The judge is still in a breakout room. When she returns, you can make your announcement, Ms. Hanson.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Hanson? Ms. Hanson, is there any way you can, I just sent you a chat.
I'm sorry. I was having trouble.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up there. Is there any way you can call me? Medical?
Mr. McLean, you can tell him that you can go back,
Yeah.
Okay,
okay?
okay,
And just let me know when you post your bond, okay?
okay, I will. All right, thank you.
So we
All right,
don't.
this is Mr. White. He represents you on your other case.
Right.
Mr. White. Yeah, Mr. White, do you know how much my bond is for this? I got 10%, like what's my bond or for this current case I'm trying to bond out today?
I don't have the number in front of me, but it should
Okay.
be at the jail, and it is a surety. So
All right. So thank
it'll
you.
be at 10%.
All right.
Okay.
All right, man. Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Jennifer. Call you soon as
So
Okay.
he doesn't have to see.
Thank you, Tom.
He doesn't have to go in front of the judge.
No, he does not. He's already been further noticed.
Okay. What about what's your name? Mr. Rhodes, position 37 to 38.
I don't have an announcement. He was not mine. Let me check to see if I have any notes anywhere. Is Miss Kim still on, or courtroom 2?
I'm not sure. I had to.
Courtroom 2 is in the breakout with Mr. Bartels.
Okay.
Medical, who's that again? I'm sorry.
This is Mr. Rhodes, positions 37 and 38.
Miss Kim got him down on her announcement as a plea, so I'm assuming it still is a plea at this time, so he would need to speak to the judge.
Okay, what about position 45, Mr. Stevens?
45. She has him down as a plea also.
Okay.
Oh, so Rhodes and Stevens are pleas. Miss Kim's case, is that correct?
Yes, on the announcements, that's what she has.
Okay. All right. I don't understand why we can't finish one court before we start another one. What are you gonna do?
What's up, man?
All right, medical, who do we have?
We have positions number 37 and 38, Mr. Rhodes.
This is Victor Rhodes. his accusation number is 24 CR 2806E. He's got 2 misdemeanor charges on this case, including a criminal trespass and a damage to property. The other is going to waive sounding on his PI charge. Incident date is May 4th, 2024. He's also got a bench warrant from July 11th, 2024, 24 FTA 1488. Mr. Rhodes, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you is Ms. Kim. Ms. Kim, we're still proceeding with the plea? I'm sorry, could you please unmute, Ms. Kim?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Rhodes, please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Folk, what's the recommendation?
The state's recommendation on this case is, go back to my 12 months served 102 days, credit for time served 51 days, from May 4th to June 14th of 2024, and from October 2nd, 2024 until today. Balance probated, stay away from 372 Griffin Street Northwest, no further contact with Pterid Adiphobosi, excuse me. On count 2, the criminal trespass, it's going to be 12 months concurrent with count 1. We would like to sound for Adiphobosi, and we do ask the defense to stipulate to manufactual basis and identification for the purposes of the plea.
Yes, we do.
I don't see anyone by that name on the Zoom. All right. Ms. Kim, do you so stipulate?
Yes, we do stipulate so. Thank you.
Mr. Rhodes, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
And have you understood what's going on in your cases?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you familiar with the 2 charges that have been brought against you?
Yes, ma'am.
And if you decide to plead guilty to these charges, you would have to give up your right to a trial. You will not go back to court to face a judge or a jury, to be able to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, present any defenses and arguments, and also have the state prove charges beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to criminal trespass causing damage to property?
Guilty.
And how do you plead to the other misdemeanor offense identified as PI? How do you plead?
Guilty.
On the count 1, it's going to be 12 months probation to serve 102 days, credit for time served 51 days. If you have no other holds, you'll be released within 24 hours, but you must report to Fulton County Probation on Monday, October 14th, before 3 p.m.
Yes, ma'am.
Probation office is at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While on probation, you have to stay away from 372 Griffin Street, Northwest Atlanta, and have no contact with Taurid Adiphobosi. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Understand.
On criminal trespass, your sentence is 12 months concurrent with count 1. The bench warrant is going to be dismissed as null prost.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Medical, do you have any other cases?
I do, but I have to run up there and get him. The phone died on me. I have to run up to 5 North and grab Mr. Stevens, position 45.
All right, we'll hold for you. And Ms. Kim and Mr. White will just go over the calendar. Ms. Folk? All right, medical, if you please mute, or the host would mute medical. Thank you. Position 1 and 2, Barker was released and further notice for trial. Position 3, Bernal Palmer was released and further notice. That's for 3 and 4. Position 5 was a plea, and position 6 was a plea. 7 and 8, Clark was released, further notice for trial. Position 9 and 10, Cone was a plea. 11 and 12 were null prost. Position 13, Cook was a plea. 14, Cromwell was a plea. 15, Fontenot is a waiver of arraignment, and so this is going to be further notice for trial. Position 16, Gabru is reset to October 17th for a possible plea. Position 17, Gleason was a plea. 18 grant is, and 18 and 19 grant was released and further notice. 20 Larry Gulat refused to attend court, so he's reset to October 17. Position 21, Michael Harris is reset to October 17. 22 is a plea. Position 23, Hutchinson is a plea. 24, Johnson is a plea. 25, Cedric is reset to October 17. 26 and 27, Lopez is reset to October 17. 28 and 29, McLean is a waiver of arraignment and further notice for trial. Oh, I'm sorry, this is the one where Jennifer Hansen had appeared. Miss Kim on Paul McLean, position.
Your Honor.
All right, Mr. White? Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I spoke with Miss McLean and further notice is what she wanted. So there, no other announcement needs to be made.
All right, thank you. So it's a waiver of arraignment and further notice for trial. Position 30, Morales is a waiver of arraignment and further notice for trial. Position 31, 32, and 33. 31 was a plea, 32 was null pros, 33 is dismissed as a duplicate. 34, Kyla Purdue is a waiver of arraignment and further notice for trial. Position 35 is a FTA that's null pros, and 36 was a plea. 37 was a plea, 38 is a dismissal or a null pros. 39, Lyle Sanders is a plea with an ankle monitor and probation. Position 40 is 40, 41, and 42. What's the announcement for Mr. Nicholas Shedrick?
Those are reset 1017, Judge.
All right. Position 43 is a reset to October 17 with PD's office still representing him. And that's for position 43 and 44. 45, Rashad Stevens was a plea. Is that correct?
Actually, he has to be,
We are holding on him for a plea, correct, okay. And 46 is reset to October 17th at 11 a.m. That's Harold Sullivan. 47 is it confirmed as a DA transfer?
Your Honor, we have not gotten confirmation from the DA's office. I did send them the email on Monday, so I will resend that to get confirmation.
All right, this is reset to October 17 pending a DA transfer. Position 48, Joshua Walker, 48, 49, and 50 are going to be a waiver of arraignments and further notice for trial. And position 48 bond is amended to 7,500 surety bond with an ankle monitor. Position 51, Joseph Wheat was a plea. 52, D'Amica Whitehurst was a plea. Position 53, Cortez Wright refused to be interviewed. That's going to be reset to October 17. Position 54 was a plea and 55 was null pros. On the add-on matters, is medical's not back yet. Okay. 51 was a plea for Howard. 52, excuse me, add-on position 1 was a plea. Position 2 is null pros. Position 3, Lark Kemp was a plea on 2 cases. She still has 1 outstanding. Position 4, Anson Smith is reset to October 24. All right, thank you very much. We'll just be in recess until medical returns with position 45. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
What, have a seat?
Have a
All right.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Mr. Stevens. My name is Judge Law.
Yes, ma'am.
This is State versus Rashad Stevens,
Yes,
24,
ma'am.
24 CR 6854D.
Yes, ma'am.
Let her talk. It's like-
Stevens,
Okay.
you are accused of 3 misdemeanor offenses: criminal trespass, simple battery against an officer, and willful obstruction of an officer from May 27, 2024. You have a right to remain silent about the facts of your case. Anything you choose to say about the facts, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you is Ms. Kim. Do you see your attorney on the screen?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Thank you. This is going to be a negotiated plea.
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Stevens, please raise your right hand.
Yes, ma'am.
You solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Falk, what is the recommendation for Mr. Stevens? You may put your hand down, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor. On Mr. Stevens, on count 1, 12 months probation, $315 restitution to Kiana Upton, 8-week anger management, or MHET. It is the defendant's choice. No further contact with Kiana Upton. Stay away from 1651 Prior Street. Count 2 and count 3 are both time served. 174 days, credit for time served, 137 days, and that is from May 27th of 2024. I believe, and let me just double check that this is a transfer from Superior Court, which is, let me just make sure that I'm not speaking out of turn. Yes, this was a transfer from Superior Court, which is the reason for the delay in addressing this case.
Yes.
Ms. Kim, do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
Yes, we do.
All right. Mr. Stevens, have you
Yes.
consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am. Only my mental health medications, ma'am. That's all.
Are you still able to understand what's going on with your case?
Totally, Your Honor. Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your attorney services?
Yes, ma'am.
And has she explained to you that if you decide to plead guilty, you would have to waive your constitutional rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you prepared? Now, you understand that you will not get the chance then to go back to court and have a trial. You
No.
will not be able to face the evidence before a judge or a jury, confront your accuser, be able to have your attorney help you present your defenses and arguments, and have the state carry its burden to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yes,
you-
yes, ma'am.
Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am. Could I ask for one thing? Since I served
Please,
4
you
months.
have a right to remain silent, Mr. You have a question? I'm here in the jail. I can come and meet with you or talk to you. So please remain silent. You have a right to remain silent.
You've been in custody for 137 days.
Yes, ma'am.
So the state is willing to give you credit for these 137 days. But you'll need to be on probation for the remainder of the time.
But if I pay the restitution, like, I still gotta be on probation after I paid it? 'Cause I probably can.
If you,
This, Your Honor, the state will agree that once he's completed either the MHET or 8-week anger management and paid the restitution, he can go non-reporting.
Well, it won't be over with me serving 4 months?
Mr. Stevens,
Yes, ma'am.
if this case goes to trial and the state, if the prosecutor proves the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt, you could be sentenced to up to 1 year in prison for each charge. So you could be looking at a maximum possibility of 3 years in prison.
I'd say go ahead and take the plea. Yeah, go ahead on and take it, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am.
I'm just letting you know the options.
Yeah, ma'am. I'd take it, ma'am.
So right now, they're giving you an option to complete 137 days, which you have completed.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you need to be on probation to do a mental health evaluation.
Yes, ma'am.
Or 8 weeks of anger management. Which one would you like to do?
He told me he was gonna do MHET, Your Honor.
Okay, so that's what we're going to impose.
Is it the mental health evaluation?
Yes.
What do I have to do? I have to do both.
No, sir. You either do the anger management or you do the mental health evaluation.
And then once I pay the restitution, it's non-report.
Once you complete the mental health evaluation
Yes, ma'am.
and you pay the restitution, then your probation will be non-reporting.
Yes, ma'am.
Which means that you are still on probation,
Yes,
but you
ma'am.
won't have to report after your probation officer releases you.
But the probation, they can tell me the whole criteria once I get down there, basically, anyway, right, ma'am?
Well, they will tell you and I'm telling you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You understand what she was saying, like, she was talking a little too fast for me, but it's all good. Go ahead.
Am I talking too fast?
No, it's all good, ma'am. It's all good, ma'am.
Going back to my other question, are you prepared to waive your constitutional rights to a trial as I
Yes,
just?
ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of criminal trespass?
Guilty, ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of simple battery against an officer?
Guilty, ma'am.
And how do you plead to willful obstruction of an officer?
Guilty, ma'am.
On the criminal trespass?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, don't interrupt until I finish.
Yes, ma'am.
Your sentence is 12 months to be on probation.
Yes, ma'am.
You pay a $315 restitution to your probation officer.
Yes, ma'am.
You complete a mental health evaluation and submit yourself to any treatment that's required.
Yes, ma'am.
You must have no contact with Kiana Upton, and you are to stay away from 1651 Prior Street.
Yes, ma'am.
If you pay off the restitution,
Yes, ma'am.
you complete the evaluation and treatment,
Yes, ma'am.
then your probation will be non-reporting,
Yes, ma'am.
but you're still required to stay away from Miss Upton and stay away from.
Yes, ma'am. So I have like 8 weeks too. Also, both of them. I thought you said I had a choice to choose one or the other. Yes, ma'am.
I did not say you have to do the anger management.
All right, that's all I would ask. Yes, ma'am.
On count 2, your sentence is to serve 174 days, credit for time served 137 days,
Yes, ma'am.
and you have completed that.
Yes, ma'am.
On count 3, same, time served 174 days, credit for 137 days. That's
Yes, ma'am.
You will report to probation on Monday, October 14th before
Yes.
6 p.m.
Yes, ma'am.
The probation office is located at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta.
Yes, ma'am. All right.
Any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, good
All
luck.
right. Yes, ma'am. You ready?
All right.
All right, Deputy, I believe that concludes our calendar. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Will the attorneys please give all their proposed orders and dispositions to Ms. Strong as soon as possible? Thank you, folks.
Also, the restitution information, please.
Okay, thank you.
Have a great one, everyone.
Enjoy the next few weeks. Wish you the very best.
Thank you.